May 10th, 1940. For 35 hours. Ardennes Forest, southeastern Belgium. Mist clings low to the ground, thick enough to swallow headlights whole. Engines idle in the dark, their vibrations felt more than heard. Steel smells like oil in cold rain. Men sit inside armored hulls, helmets pulled low, breath fogging the periscopes. Somewhere in the forest, a branch snaps. No one speaks. You're inside a Panzer III. The clock glows faintly. The hand moves. On the command net, a voice cuts through the static, calm, clipped, impatient. Orders are repeated. Routes confirmed. No cheating. No speeches. Just engines revving, one by one, like a giant waking carefully, trying not to alert the world. Then the column moves. Tracks bite into mud. Trees close in on both sides, tall, ancient, their branches forming a ceiling that blocks the sky. The road is barely a road at all, a narrow ribbon meant for carts, not tanks. The forest presses tight, hostile, unforgiving. This place is not supposed to allow war machines through. Every map says so, but the tanks keep coming. Up ahead, engineers clear fallen trunks under blackout conditions. Axes swing, sweat runs. Time bleeds away minute by minute. Somewhere behind the lead elements, thousands more vehicles wait. Half-tracks, fuel trucks, artillery, motorcycles, an entire army balanced on roads never meant to carry it. One breakdown here would stop everything. Inside the tank, the commander listens to the engine's rhythm, alert for the slightest stutter. If it fails, there will be no room to pull aside. The column would freeze. Air reconnaissance would find them. French bombers would arrive by morning. That is the risk. At 5 o'clock hours, the forest begins to thin. Dawn approaches, barely noticeable at first, a shade lighter between the trunks. The tanks emerge from the deepest part of the Ardennes, into valleys cut by rivers and villages still asleep. Church bells stand silent. Shutters closed. No alarms. No artillery fire. No one is waiting. Across the border, French sentries stare into empty roads. Their orders are unchanged. Hold positions. Trust the plan. The Ardennes is quiet. It always has been. At the Maginot Line, hundreds of kilometers to the south, concrete casemates hum with routine. Power generators throb steadily. Coffee is poured. Logs are signed. Periscopes scan fields that will never see an enemy. The forts face east. By 6:30 hours, German reconnaissance units reach the Meuse tributaries. Bridges are intact. Roads are clear. Radio reports flow back to headquarters. Progress faster than scheduled. Much faster. In a command vehicle further west, General Heinz Guderian studies a map illuminated by a single lamp. He does not smile. Speed is everything now. If the French react in time, if they shift reserves, if they bomb the roads behind him, this entire operation will collapse into disaster. He keys the radio. Continue the advance. No dilas. The gamble deepens. French civilians wake to an unfamiliar sound. Not aircraft, not artillery, but a low mechanical growl rolling through valleys where only tractors should be. Some step outside. They freeze. Steel crosses their fields. Soldiers wave them back indoors, weapons raised, faces expressionless. This is not a skirmish. This is a flood. By mid-morning, Luftwaffe fighters streak overhead, finally visible, claiming the sky above the forest exits. Stukas circle like birds of prey, waiting for targets that have not yet realized they are targets. French command posts receive fragmented reports. Enemy contact, uncertain numbers. Ardennes sector. Officers frown. The Ardennes sector does not matter. It is a screen, lightly held. The real battle will come against the Maginot Line. That is where the war is supposed to be fought. At 10 o'clock hours, the first French units attempt to redeploy. Orders conflict. Phone lines overload. Trains are requested, then canceled. No one has practiced this movement. No one believed it would be necessary. And still, the German columns push forward. Engines overheat. Crews repair them under trees, hands black with grease, knowing that every minute lost tightens the noose. Fuel trucks race to keep up. Maps are redrawn in pencil as roads appear that were never supposed to exist. The forest Once an obstacle, now shields them. By afternoon, the sound of artillery finally arrives, distant, probing. The first French shells fall wide, uncertain, striking empty ground. German units fan out, already beyond where the French believe they could be by nightfall. A realization begins to form, slow, unwelcome. This is not a diversion. This is the main blow. As the sun lowers, Guderian receives confirmation. The bulk of his panzer divisions are through. The Ardennes has not stopped them. It has delivered them. Ahead lies the Meuse River. Behind them lies the only road back. And for the first time that day, the forest is silent again, not because nothing moved through it, but because everything already has. May 10th, 1940. 18:20 hours. French High Command, Vincennes, outside Paris. Asterisk telephones ring without pause. Maps cover the walls. Immaculate color-coded, decades in the making. Blue for friendly units. Red pins for the enemy. The red pins are where they are supposed to be. Belgium, the Low Countries, facing north and east, just as the plan predicted. No red pins sit in the Ardennes. An intelligence officer clears his throat and speaks carefully. Reporter coming in from Sedan, from Dinant, from Namur. Armored units. Large numbers. Moving fast. Too fast. A general waves it away. Reconnaissance, exaggeration. Motorized patrols, perhaps. The Ardennes is unsuitable for tanks. The doctrine is clear. Roads too narrow. Terrain too dense. Logistique impossible. Decades of staff studies agree. The officer insists. Refugees are reporting columns of armor. Not trucks. Tanks. Continuous traffic. The sound hasn't stopped since morning. Silence follows. Someone lights a cigarette. Another officer adjusts his glasses and leans closer to the map, as if proximity might fix the problem. Orders are issued, cautiously. A request for clarification. A request for confirmation. No full redeployment. Not yet, because to move reserves now would mean admitting the plan is wrong. And the plan has never been wrong before. At the Maginot Line, Fortress crews listen to radio chatter with mild interest. They are bored, trained for siege, not maneuver. Their guns are calibrated to fire at coordinates long memorized. They face Germany, waiting for an enemy that does not intend to meet them there. Inside one casemate, a lieutenant flips through a newspaper dated 2 days earlier. Headlines promise confidence, security, preparedness. Outside, the fields are still. North of Sedan, French infantry divisions occupy thin defensive lines along the Meuse River. Many are reserve units. Older men, limited anti-tank weapons. Their orders are simple: delay, observe, report. They were not told they might face the spearhead of modern armored warfare. As dusk settles, German forward elements reach the riverbanks. Engineers dismount. Rubber boats are unloaded under cover of darkness. Artillery is brought forward, barrels angled low, awaiting coordinates already calculated. Across the river, French soldiers hear movement. Shapes shift in the shadows. Officers peer through binoculars, uncertain. They request artillery fire. The response is slow. Some batteries are still repositioning. Others are unsure of targets. Communications lag. Doctrine requires confirmation. German doctrine does not. At 2000 hours, Luftwaffe dive bombers arrive. The sound is unmistakable, a rising mechanical scream that seems to tear the air itself. Stukas plunge toward French positions, sirens wailing, bombs falling with terrifying precision. Trenches erupt. Command posts vanish in smoke. Phone lines are severed in seconds. French artillery crews scramble, disoriented. Orders never arrive. By nightfall, German engineers are already crossing the Meuse. Small groups at first. Silent paddles. Weapons held above water. Once across, they secure footholds, clear enemy positions at close range, and signal back with flares barely visible through the haze. The bridgeheads grow. French counterattacks come piecemeal. Brave, disorganized. Infantry advancing without armor support, without air cover, into machine gun fire they cannot suppress. Officers lead from the front and fall within minutes. Still, French command believes this can be contained. They send orders to hold, to stabilize, to wait for reinforcements that are still facing the wrong direction. In Paris, senior commanders debate whether this is a feint. Germany attacked through Belgium in the last war. Surely this is repetition. Surely the main force is still north. The Ardennes thrust is labeled secondary. Guderian disagrees. By midnight, he is already pushing commanders to exploit the crossings. He knows the danger. His flanks are exposed. His supply lines are stretched to the breaking point. French armored divisions exist, powerful ones, but they are scattered, tied to defensive sectors, waiting for orders that will come too late. Speed is his shield. At 2 o'clock hours, May 11th, German pontoon bridges span the Meuse. Tanks begin to cross. One slips, another stalls. Engineers work frantically under sporadic fire. Losses mount, but the crossing holds. As dawn breaks, French positions on the heights above Sedan are in chaos. Units have withdrawn without coordination. Some have fled. Others fight on, isolated, unaware that the line has already broken beside them. German armor pours through the gap. Radio messages finally reach French high command with undeniable clarity. Entire panzer divisions have crossed the Meuse. The Ardennes was not a screen. It was the blade. A general whispers what no one wants to say aloud. The Maginot Line is irrelevant. There is no answer to that statement. Only the growing sound of engines moving west. May 11th, 1940. 7:15 hours. Sedan, Meuse River. ***, smoke hangs over the water like a low ceiling. Burned out bunkers, the French side of the river, their concrete cracked open, interiors blackened. The smell of cordite mixes with wet earth and river mist. Shattered telephone wires sway uselessly in the breeze. Men stumble through the haze, some wounded, some simply lost, all searching for orders that no longer exist. German tanks rumble off the pontoon bridges one by one. Panzer IIIs first, then Panzer IVs, turrets swinging, crews scanning for resistance. The bridges creak under their weight, flexing dangerously, but they hold. Engineers stand waist-deep in water, tools in hand, eyes locked on every bolt and cable. If a bridge collapses now, the advance could choke itself. It does not. French artillery attempts to respond. A few shells land close, throwing geysers of water into the air. One bridge shudders but remains intact. Luftwaffe fighters scream overhead, strafing gun positions the moment they reveal themselves. The sky belongs to Germany. On the French side, reserve infantry units attempt to regroup. Officers shout over the noise, trying to form lines. Anti-tank guns are dragged into position by hand, wheels slipping in the mud. Ammunition is low. Communications are gone. Still, they prepare to fire. Then the panzers appear through the smoke. The first French gun fires and hits. A solid strike against a Panzer III's hull. The tank jerks to a halt. Cheers erupt for half a second. Then machine gun fire rips across the position. Supporting tanks open up. Infantry dismounts, moving with precision drilled into them through years of training. Mortars fall. Another Stuka dive breaks the earth apart. The French gun is silenced. The crew is gone. German doctrine works like a machine. Armor, infantry, air power, artillery, all moving as one. The French fight bravely, but separately. Each unit alone. Each counterattack isolated. By mid-morning, the German bridgehead has expanded several kilometers deep. Guderian is already pushing beyond his orders. Messages arrive, warning him to consolidate, to wait for slower units. He ignores them. Every minute counts. French armor divisions, the 2E and 3 EDCR, exist somewhere beyond the horizon. If they strike now, they could cut his supply lines and trap his spearhead. So he accelerates. Columns surge forward, bypassing strong points instead of crushing them. French units wake to find German tanks already behind them, cutting roads, severing retreat routes. Entire battalions dissolve without ever seeing the enemy clearly. Civilians flee on foot, carts piled high with belongings. Roads clog instantly. German motorcycles weave through the chaos. Tanks push relentlessly, horns blaring, forcing humanity itself to scatter before steel. French commanders issue desperate orders. Counterattack at once. Restore the line. Stop the breakthrough. But units arrive late, exhausted, without air cover. When French Char B1 tanks finally engage, heavily armored, powerful, they fight almost alone. 1B1 destroys multiple panzers at point-blank range, shells bouncing harmlessly off its thick armor. Then fuel runs low. Then ammunition runs out. Then German artillery zeroes in. Heroism cannot fix a broken system. By afternoon, German reconnaissance units reach the outskirts of Bulsen Heights. The ground here was supposed to be held at all costs. It is nearly empty. Panic has done what bombs cannot. A rumor spreads among French troops. German tanks are everywhere. In reality, they are still few. But speed multiplies fear. Movement becomes myth. Guderian pauses only long enough to confirm what he already senses. The French line is not bending. It has snapped. At 1800 hours, he orders a general westward push. No pause, no consolidación. He knows his enemies are still thinking in terms of fronts and lines. He is thinking in terms of collapse. Behind him, the Meuse crossings are defended by a thin screen of troops. If the French strike there now, the spear could shatter. They do not. Confusion reigns. Authority fractures. Decisions wait for approval that never comes. As night falls, German tanks advance under moonlight, headlights masked, engines throttled low. Crews are exhausted, nerves stretched thin, but momentum carries them forward like gravity. Somewhere ahead lies open country. Beyond that, the French rear. And far to the east, the Maginot Line remains fully manned, fully supplied, and utterly untouched. A fortress guarding a door the enemy has already walked past. May 12, 1940. 3:40 hours. West of Sedan. The night is alive with movement. Headlights flicker briefly, then vanish. Orders pass in whispers and hand signals. Tank engines cough, settle, then roll forward again. The German advance no longer feels cautious. It feels hungry. The breakthrough is real now, and everyone senses it. Maps are already outdated. Roads thought secondary are suddenly vital arteries. Columns stretch for kilometers, a fragile thread of fuel trucks, ammunition carriers, artillery pieces, and armored spearheads, all depending on momentum to survive. One decisive French blow could still sever it all. It never comes. French command is paralyzed by scale. Reports contradict each other. Some insist the situation is contained. Others warn of total collapse. No one can see the full picture, and doctrine offers no guidance for an enemy that refuses to pause. At 6 o'clock hours, German units reach Ston. Here, resistance hardens. French infantry digs in among stone houses and narrow streets. Char B1 tanks counterattack with fury, blasting panzers at close range, their thick armor shrugging off German shells. The village changes hands repeatedly, blood soaking into cobblestones as artillery pounds both sides without mercy. For a moment, it seems the advance might stall. Then German air power arrives again. Bombs tear through the village. Roofs collapse. Smoke swallows defenders. German infantry moves in behind the armor, clearing cellars room by room. By midday, Ston is a ruin, and the road beyond it lies open. Elsewhere, the French attempt coordination. The 1st DCR receives orders to strike the German flank, but orders arrive late. Units move separately. Fuel is scarce. Radios fail. When the attack begins, it does so without mass, without surprise. German anti-tank guns wait. The French assault bleeds out in fields dotted with burning vehicles, courage spent against preparation. Survivors retreat or scatter, leaving wreckage as silent markers of what might have been. Guderian listens to reports with one question in mind. Not how hard the French are fighting, but whether they are fighting together. They are not. By afternoon, German armored columns fan outward like water released from a broken dam. They cut rail lines. They seize bridges intact. They overrun headquarters before staff officers can destroy documents. French units wake to find Germans in their rear, issuing orders in a language they do not understand, weapons pointed calmly but decisively. Panic spreads faster than tanks. Refugee columns choke every road, mixing with retreating troops. Commanders lose control of formations. Runners are sent and never return. The sky remains hostile, German aircraft everywhere, French aircraft rarely seen. In Paris, ministers argue while the map turns meaningless. Defensive lines drawn in pencil are erased as quickly as they are written. Someone suggests a withdrawal to the Somme. Another insists the situation can still be stabilized. No one explains how.
At 1830 hours, Guderian makes his most dangerous decision yet. He orders his forces to continue driving west, toward the Channel. Not south, not east, west. If he reaches the coast, he will cut off the entire Allied Northern Army, French, British, Belgian, in one stroke. It is audacious. It is reckless. It defies conventional military wisdom. It is also the only move that keeps the enemy from recovering. His superiors hesitate. Messages warn him not to outrun his infantry. He acknowledges them and continues anyway. Speed has become doctrine. By nightfall, German spearheads are more than 100 kilometers beyond the Meuse. Supply officers stare at their calculations in disbelief. This was supposed to take weeks. It has taken days. Behind the advance, French strongpoints still fight, unaware they have already been bypassed. Ahead of it, nothing substantial stands in the way. The gap is no longer a gap. It is an abyss, and the Allies are sliding into it. May 13, 1940, 06:10 hours, northern France, open country west of the Ardennes. Morning light reveals a landscape already bruised by movement. Fields are scarred with track marks. Hedgerows lie flattened. Farmhouses stand abandoned, doors swinging in the wind. German armored columns roll west in long, relentless lines, dust plumes rising behind them like banners. The pace is unsustainable. Crews have slept in their vehicles for days. Engines overheat. Fuel consumption climbs dangerously. Mechanics ride on fenders, tools in hand, ready to leap down the moment something breaks. A single stalled tank could jam the entire road. Yet nothing stops. Guderian knows the clock is now his enemy. French high command is slow, but not blind. Somewhere to the north, British Expeditionary Force units are digging in. To the south, French armored divisions still exist. If they coordinate, if they strike his flank simultaneously, the spearhead could be cut off and destroyed. That coordination never comes. French orders remain fragmented. Units receive commands to attack positions already abandoned. Some divisions march all day toward a battle that ended the night before. Others wait for fuel that never arrives. German reconnaissance units move like ghosts, appearing ahead of the main force, capturing bridges before they can be demolished. In several towns, mayors surrender without a fight, stunned by how quickly the war has arrived. French soldiers retreat past civilians who stare at them in silence, fear and disbelief etched on their faces. This is not how the plan was supposed to unfold. At midday, the first serious threat emerges. Near Montcornet, French General Charles de Gaulle leads a counterattack with his 4th Division Cuirassiers. Heavy tanks advance aggressively, guns firing, armor absorbing hits that would cripple German panzers. For a moment, the German columns hesitate. This is what Guderian has feared. The French tanks smash through forward elements, destroying supply vehicles, scattering infantry. German anti-tank guns scramble into position. Luftwaffe support is called in urgently. The air answers. Dive bombers scream down once more, bombs falling with brutal accuracy. French tanks are forced to scatter, their advance broken not by enemy armor, but by the sky itself. De Gaulle's units withdraw, battered but unbroken. It is too little, too late. By evening, German spearheads push past the last organized resistance. The road west lies open again. Maps are updated. Arrows now stretch toward the Channel coast. In Allied headquarters, the implications finally sink in. If the Germans reach the sea, the northern armies will be trapped, hundreds of thousands of men, their backs to the water, with nowhere to go. Emergency orders are issued, retreats become routes, defensive lines dissolve before they can form. The word encirclement spreads like poison through staff rooms and trenches alike. Guderian receives a message late in the day, a direct order to halt, to consolidate, to wait for infantry support. He reads it. He understands the risk. He ignores it.